I'm Naoki, back another Now Story Time. Today I'll be talking about the shrinking human cucumber frenzy that happened right here in Singapore. Singapore is one of the wealthiest and most modern countries to visit for a holiday. It has come a long way since gaining independence from the British, having to go through many monumental events. However, there is one event that shook and caused panic among Singaporeans. In 1967, there is a plague called shrink penis, medically known as genital retraction syndrome. Many use different methods to hold on to their manhood and would rush down to the hospital without loosening their grip in fear that their manhood would disappear or it would cause fatal consequences. This is the article I found online, so I'm gonna read it. It all began in the October of 1967, where a 16-year-old male rushed to the General Hospital outdoor clinic with his parents close behind. The boy looked frightened and pale, as one report described it, as he was pulling hard on his penis to prevent the organ from disappearing to his abdomen. The boy's parents shouted for the doctors to help because the boy had so young, which is also known as genital retraction syndrome, and if the retraction didn't stop, he would die. The doctors reassured the family and gave the boy 10 milligrams of
chlordiazepoxide.
After consuming it, he did improve. So how did all this begin? Well, the boy was in school when he heard a rumor that some pork was tainted. It has something to do with the swine flu, which is a rising concern back in the 1967. Folklore and rumors often says that this tainted pork would cause KORO. And as the boy recalled, earlier in the day, he had some pork meat buns. So there is like pork inside the steam bun. He went to the toilet and when he looked down, he realized that it was shrinking. So in panic, he went to his parents and seek comfort or seek advice. This was not the only case that happened. However, after his case was known to the public, many people followed and eventually the publicity for that tainted pork, basically it just shot up. So in the hospital, it was flooded with patients who were worried about their manhood. Besides the frenzy that was happening in the hospital, pork sales plummeted because of this rumor. However, when the Ministry of Primary Production announced that this swine fever and vaccine was harmless to people, but it didn't help with the case. In fact, it just caused the epidemic to accelerate even higher. This frenzy continued for 7 days. So basically, nothing changed. Whatever the government was trying to do didn't really help with the situation. So finally, the Singapore Medical Association and Ministry of Health had to step in and started appearing on television and radios to announce that the so young, basically genital retraction syndrome, is purely a psychological condition and there is no death that occurred due to this KORO epidemic. The television and the radio was very effective because after it was aired, there was a decrease in cases reported in the hospital regarding this KORO epidemic. This KORO epidemic happened in October 1967. So basically in November 1967, there was no case reported in the hospitals. In conclusion, in the end of this KORO epidemic, there was a total of 469 cases, although the real number was certainly higher, since the survey only included Western doctors and not the traditional Chinese doctors, senseis. All patients who were interviewed by the doctors said that they were aware of what KORO was and they didn't expect themselves to experience it. After this epidemic, the Chinese Physician Association concluded that this epidemic of so young or so young was due to people's fear and rumors. So besides the fear and the rumors, there was other medical conditions that was associated to this psychological KORO pandemic, like for example climatic conditions, imbalance between heart and kidneys. I will link the actual document down in the description below so you can read more about it if you're interested. Meanwhile, the Western doctors concluded that this KORO epidemic was due to panic syndrome and cultural differences. Plus, there is a few references in books that this KORO epidemic appeared in. Like for example in the book The Geography of Madness, Penis Thief, Voodoo's Death, World Strangers Syndrome. Okay, so that's all the book references that I found for this KORO epidemic. Okay, that's it for this week Now Story Time. So what do you think about this KORO epidemic? Do you think it's a psychological problem or it's just a rumor spread by people? Before you leave, please remember to do the 3S. Subscribe, share and smash the like button. Thank you. Okay, bye. You can see me now. Peace out.